Hear me. Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the home studio tonight on this, the 9th day of January in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. And we're doing this live tonight. The last couple of weeks it haven't been, but that's the reason why you see a little bit of a different background. I tried to get the green screen to work, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get it going, so I have to figure out some of those kinks. But as you do each and every Monday night, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you this week's newspaper. And this is well, I guess what you would almost call a radical front page for us. And the headline, of course, is Carney's Van Gogh. A couple of months ago, some of you may know Susan Harris. She is a vital part of the Carney Food Pantry Network. And she sends me an email with a photograph, and in it it says, I want you to meet this guy, Mauricio Laborde. He does his paintings. He's an artist. He paints. And all of his paintings, or most of them, are replicas of Vincent van Gogh's. For whatever reason, whether it was Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year, it was hard for me to get to see Mauricio. But finally last week, I went down to his garage in Kearney, where many of his paintings are kept, and what I saw was nothing short of extraordinary. And I'm so excited that I'm able to bring this to you tonight and in this week's newspaper, because his work is just fascinating. And he gave me an incredible history lesson about who Vincent van Gogh was as a human being, as an artist. And believe it or not, for Mauricio, this is only something he's been doing for about 7 years. He has artists in his family. His brother is an artist. His dad painted. He doesn't consider himself as good as those two, but I can't imagine how he isn't, because what I saw was pretty extraordinary. And I hope you get a chance to read the story. Now, here's the other part that's kind of important to this story as well, and that is that if anybody in the area wants to view his work, which he has mostly in a garage in town, he wants you to call him. His phone number's in the story. He will see groups. He's hoping to see kids from the high school and things of that nature, and he wants to kind of show off some of his work, even at maybe the Kearney Library. So I'm going to contact Josh Humphrey and hopefully set something up for Mauricio. But if you see some of this work and you're interested in it, just give him a buzz and he'll have you over. I'm not going to give you his address because I don't want people knocking on his door at all sorts of hours of the night, but he's willing to have people come down and see the garage and all of his incredible work. So I do hope that some of you will do that when you get a chance, because, you know, he is really extraordinary. He was such a nice guy. Met him, had a chance to meet his wife as well, and really enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoy reading about it as much as I do too. Now, of course, don't forget, since we're live today, you can put things in the chat room, and I will make sure that they get appeared on the screen. Lisa said hello before, so she's watching probably from her place as well. Now, as we move along, a couple of things on the inside. Clara Matz's first baby of the year was born pretty late. Sometimes they have babies born very, very early in the morning, but this one's about 11 a.m., and it just so happens that the proud mom and dad live in Belleville, so that was good for our purposes. You can check that out. That's something that we get every year from the hospitals. Now, Nutley is working on a situation where since the pandemic there have been excess rodents, and it's been a problem. They're trying to get rid of these rodents, but since everything started with the pandemic, it's been an issue. So they wanted to make sure people were aware that this was an issue and that they're addressing it, especially for those of you who are residents of Nutley. It's not going unnoticed by members of the governing body. So we'll see what happens there. You can check that out on page number 4. And sticking in Nutley, now, I want to preface this by saying, because the situation with the previous chief is still under investigation, They can't say for sure whether this is a cause and effect, but the township has decided to hire a new chief. And this is him right here. You can read the story. What they would not say, whether it was in reaction to what happened with the former chief, Miola. Now, this is the first time that the chief in Nutley is a paid member of the department. It's always been a volunteer. Never quite understood that, but the new ordinance that's on the book will keep it that the chief from now on is a paid member of the department. So check that out on page number 5. Now, this particular man who is the new chief has been a deputy chief already and has been on the department for many, many years. Lisa just said, hello, Toby, and I guess I got to address that because Toby's been sleeping since I got home. And now that I'm on the air with all of you, Toby has decided to get up and meow louder than any other cat has ever meowed again. So I apologize for that right off the bat, but he never fails to do it. Nutley is looking for its taxpayers to perhaps spruce for some more money. They're looking to make improvements to the John Walker Middle School, and this will be the, I think, third referendum in as many years in Nutley. The last few have not fared well at the ballot, but this is something that the Board of Education is trying to address because the school, John Walker Middle School, is becoming too crowded and they need to expand it. And I think they also want to get rid of trailers that they've been using. That's never a pretty sight to see at all at any school, something that was seen at Kearney High School for a while until they finally finished that product. We welcome in from South Florida the former mayor of the town of Kearney, that is Ken Lindenfelser Sr. Mr. Mayor, good to see you, and please give my best to your wife Ann, the former First Lady of Kearney. We miss you up here, unless you're up here already. Maybe you are, but I think it's a little too soon for you to be up here for the St. Patrick's Day parade. But Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us tonight. It's good to see you, as always. Now, this is just a little bit of a recap of the ambulance situation. Most of you are pretty much aware that Kearney EMS ceased operations on January 1st. This is a recap of the new contract that the town of Kearney signed with Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health. They will be taking over for at least 90 days, probably longer than that, and the contract is a $0 contract. So check that out when you get a chance. That's on page number 8. Jason Bernstein has 3 sports stories, one about the Lyndhurst boys basketball team, another about the Harrison boys basketball team, and he's got the second athlete of the week this week from the Kearney High School girls basketball team in this week's edition of The Observer, so check that out as well. This is a photo that I happen to be in. I don't like that necessarily, but the Dos Santos brothers own several laundromats in the town of Kearney, and they donated over 100 turkeys to the PBA, FMBA, CS11 Observer food drive for Thanksgiving. And Mina Claudius, who was in the picture that you can see here all the way to the right, said, would you come down and take a picture of George and Danny, the 2 Dos Santos brothers who operate these laundromats? It was a no-brainer because they have given a lot to this town. They truly have, and whenever push comes to shove, they always seem to step up to the plate, so check that out too as well. Joe DiVincenzo, the Essex County executive, has taken his 6th oath of office, which is pretty remarkable. I don't know if that's a record, but if it's not, it's got to be pretty close. 6 terms is really something else to pull off. You have a picture here this week of the Sons of the American Legion, a very, very active chapter in Belleville. They donated to a cancer foundation earlier on, at the end of 2022, so I hope you'll check that out when you get a chance. An honor roll from Roosevelt School in the town of Kearney. This is pretty neat, too. There was a family who restored a bench that was in the Lyndhurst Library, and it was dedicated to the memory of one of the patron's brothers who spent a good deal of time in the library when he was a child. He died last year, and they restored this. The whole family was on hand for that, and Donna Romeo sent that over to us to see. There are 2 pages of classifieds this week, and if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a place to live, anything. We have tons of services offered. Please check that out on pages 16 and 17 of this week's edition of The Observer. There's plenty for everybody in there. And that's about it. Found out, unfortunately, too late that Mayor Dan Prunty was sworn in, as were his two council running mates, on Friday night in North Arlington. So I have to reach out to the mayor, and we'll have something for you on that next week. He sent me an email. I didn't see it until Saturday when he was already sworn in, but that doesn't mean we won't have something for you. Hope to get some photos of that and speak with the mayor as he begins term number 2. And, of course, the town of Kearney swore in new council members, Stat Theodoropoulos and George Zapata, last week as well. And our good friend, Dr. John Branwell, is a new member of the Kearney Board of Education. So we say congratulations to our friend, Dr. John Branwell. And that's going to do it for now. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. Thank you, Lisa, for being here, and Mayor Lyndon Felser joining us from South Florida. Thank you both for dropping into the chat room. Don't forget, we will be back 1 week from tonight with another edition of The Observer Live. And, of course, if anything happens during the course of the week, we will join you live then. So from the home studios, it's Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and I hope to see you back here again very, very soon.